New Orleans, it is time to head to that app, judgeszone.com. Let's lock in those scores. You got 20 seconds.
All right, we saw the two attempts there for both Siemens and Thunder Roars. That second attempt, the popper off of the great racing ramp as well. First attempt, the best one out of the two, in my opinion there, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm not scoring, you are, at judgeszone.com. Scores are locked in. Let's see that score for Thunder Roars. You gave him a 6.240. Get those trucker horn signals going for the Cynthia Gauthier Lucas Stabilizer.
Wow, I don't know if those are donuts or, as you guys call it, a beignet. 20 seconds, let's lock in those scores.
That was one of the longest donuts I have seen in a long time. Take a look at the super glue, glued to the action replay there on the video board. Count the revolutions, the spins, and get those scores locked in there at judgeszone.com. Cynthia Gauthier throws down the donut, or like Jabari said, the beignet. Time to get those scores in. Thunder Roars is your score to beat 6.240. Your scores are locked. Your score for Lucas Stabilizer is... Hey, we got a new leader, 7.454. So Cynthia Gauthier and Lucas Stabilizer now is your score to beat. She goes down the Monster Jam donut, and this is just a reminder, if you've not started scoring, use that QR code to log on to judgeszone.com or just log on to your web browser. Our drivers will have 2 attempts to throw down their best tricks, or just 1 attempt at a Monster Jam donut, like we just saw. Myself, Jabari, will let you know what you're seeing out on the track. We've seen a lot of combinations there. Both Siemens throwing down a nice combination move, and then of course, Cynthia Gauthier throws down the Monster Jam donut. So on deck, we've got up, it's Kevin Crocker, McLeod.
20 seconds is on the clock. Let's lock in those scores. JudgesZone.com.
All pun intended, but my jaw just dropped there with the backflip corkscrew on the second. On the second attempt. Casey calling it the tuna roll there. What a move by Kevin Crocker. That is insane. Okay, we had the big wheelie there for the first attempt, and then the second one, it was a backflip. Scores are locked in. Your score to beat Lucas Stabilizer 7.454. Your score for Megalodon is 8.615. We got a new leader. We're moving right along with our next rounder up, Chip Kohler, Avenger.
Let's hear it for Jim Kohler of Finchton. 20 seconds on the clock. Let's lock in those scores. JudgesZone.com.
See the Super Blue to the action replay from the Sky Wheelie for Jim Kohler and Avenger. Nice vertical position there for him as well. Some nice air there off the ground as well. Jim Kohler, Avenger, and his 2 attempts locked in. And now it's time for you to lock in here at JudgesZone.com. Score to beat Megalodon 8.615, and your score for Avenger is in the 6.758. 2 attempts there, both off the Morgan backflip. That second attempt, he's looking to find his balance there. Goes back into the popper, into a brief stoppy there. Maybe a little bit of a nose wheelie as well. Time to get those scores locked in at judgeszone.com. Chris Kohler and Mayhem. Megalodon still score to be 8.615. And your score for Mayhem is 7.023. Coming up next, we got Canada Rugby Classroom Crusher.
That's how long you have to get those scores in. Judgeszone.com.
2 solid attempts there for Classroom Crusher. You take a look at the Super Group who's the action to play. Time to turn those cheers into some scores right now. Judgeszone.com. That second attempt on the ski jump, able to moonwalk it up over the ski jump. Time to get those scores in. Your score to beat Megalodon, 8.615. Classroom Crusher and Cannon Murphy looking on. Your score is... Hey, we got a new leader! 8.783. So Classroom Crusher is now your score to beat. And sits on top of the leaderboard, 8.783, followed by Megalodon, Lucas Stabilizer, Mayhem Avenger, and Thunder Horus. We're gonna move on here with our next driver up. It's Mike Christensen Vendetta. Mike Christensen Vendetta, our next driver up on deck. We still have Zombie, a Four Loco, Gravedigger, Axe, and Jurassic Attack.
those scores, judgeszone.com.
All right. You saw the 2 attempts there. Get those scores locked in at judgeszone.com for our Monster Jam driver, Mike Christensen and Vendetta. Few more seconds remaining here. Scores are locked in. Your score for Vendetta is 6.258. Time to look at the leaderboard right now for the skills competition. Classroom Crusher is your score to beat, followed by Megalodon, Lucas Stabilizer, Mayhem, Avenger, and Vendetta. Round out your top 6.
We've been working hard to get Zombie back in action, and as you can see behind me, Zombie looks whole, but probably 10, 15, 20 minutes ago, Zombie was literally in pieces. So in the racing competition, I know that you saw that Zombie was having some trouble out there on the track. It ended up being the front differential, which is also known as the third member. This component is right in the center of the front housing, and it's kind of tricky to access because you have to remove everything to get to it. You have to take out the wheels, the BKT tires, the hub, the planetaries. You have to remove the drive shaft. Everything kind of plugs into the third member. So typically it takes about 30 or 40 minutes to replace that. But as you can see behind me, that truck is already good to go. It looks like they're just finishing up some things. They took out the old one, they put in the new one, they put everything back in. I actually just talked to Julian Ramos, who is the crew chief for Zombie, and he said, listen, me and Bari, we're zombies. That means we always get back up. So they are determined to get back in the competition. We talked about points earlier today, but the point chase is on. It is intense in the chase for the series championship. So this team has been working hard back here to get Zombie back in the skills challenge.
Casey, thank you so much for that update. It sounds promising for all the Zombie fans here, and wow, he's gonna need it because he is 3 points behind here in the series season's point standing. With him having to go back and not being able to finish that race, Tyler Menega and Gravedigger takes full advantage and now sits on top of the leaderboard with 495 points. Now keep in mind, fans, that the winner of our series season's championship will get an automatic bid to Monster Jam World Finals 24. So this is huge for bragging rights. A lot of these drivers looking for their first series season's championship, including Zombie. But Gravedigger and Tyler Menega would receive his 7th if he got it this season. So a lot of highlights, a lot of accolades would be coming to his name as well. So keep that in mind as you continue to watch this play out here for Stadium Championship Series East.
Tyler Miniga, Great Digger. 20 seconds are on the clock. Let's lock in those scores. JudgesZone.com.
So we see the bicycle and he tries to transfer the weight there from the right side to the left side. Take a look at the replay though, that first attempt there on the video board. In a moment we'll show you the second attempt here by Tyler Miniga and Great Digger. There's the second attempt. Scores are locked. Your score to beat, Classroom Crusher 8.7. Your score for Great Digger is, you gave him a score of 8.359. Coming up next, we got a Model Kids Show, El Toro Loco.
El Toro Loco. 20 seconds on the clock. Lock in those scores. JudgesZone.com.
We see the popper nose wheelie and a little extra special there with the smoke coming out of the Crazy Bull's nose. Time to get those scores locked in. Take a look at the Super Bowl QT action replay there. Time to see what you think about those two attempts. Score to beat Classroom Crusher 8.783. Your score for El Toro Loco is, you gave him a score of 8.081. Amado Castro, El Toro Loco, not too excited about that score for him. Classroom Crusher will remain on top of the leaderboard, 8.783. Amado Castro sits in fourth there with El Toro Loco with an 8.081. On deck, we still have Zombie X and Jurassic Attack. Coming up next, we got Joe Bully X.
seconds on the clock, locking those scores. JudgesZone.com.
Looks like there's some issues there with Joe Foley and Axe. Usually he goes for that slap wheelie and is able to achieve it pretty easily, even adding in some of that kind of extra moves there with the slapping it down and then going back into the slap wheelie again. So kind of we'll have to wait to see what's going on with Joe Foley and the Axe. We saw the big sky wheelie there as well. Scores are locked in. Your score for Joe Foley and Axe is... You gave him a score of 5.925. So Joe Foley and Axe heads to the back. We'll get an update on what's going on with him. Keenan Murphy, Classroom Crusher, is still your score to beat. 8.783. Kevin Crocker with that wild corkscrew backflip currently sits in second. Tyler Menega, Gravedigger with 2 solid runs there, sits in third. El Toro Loco as well with 2 solid attempts, sits in fourth. Lucas Stabilizer and Mayhem round out your top 6. 2 more trucks remain, Zombie and Jurassic Attack.
Scores 20 seconds. Let us know what you think, judges.
Alright, let's be Saturday. This party sour sends it to the sky here for the big sky relay. Trying to get those scores locked in. JudgesZone.com. Scores are locked in. Your score to beat, Classroom Crusher 8.793. New Orleans, let me see that score for Zombie. 8.257 puts up in fourth. We have one more driver remaining before you crown a winner. It is Dome Liner, Jurassic Attack. no steering wheel. He threw the steering wheel out already. No steering wheel being used right now in the making of this second attempt.
Make some noise for Jurassic Attack, John Winder. Lock in those scores, judgeszone.com. You got 20 seconds.
All right, let's see where that steering wheel landed there for Dalton Widener, Jurassic Attack. Our last competitor here goes to pick up the steering wheel. There it is on the other side, so I can see it. Get those scores locked in at judgeszone.com. No steering wheel used for that second attempt. Wow. All right. Scores are locked. Your score to beat Classroom Crusher and Camden Murphy 27-83. Your score for Jurassic Attack is 7.874, which means your winner of the Skills Challenge, Camden Murphy Classroom Crusher.
Camden, congratulations for snagging the 12 points for this competition.